very little inconvenience that I saw.
If you ever speak to residents, you can tell them that the residents in our district are wonderful. I think in all my years, we've probably had one or two complaints, and they're very understanding. And throughout the whole Indus project, where we had tromping in their backyards, going through their side gates 2-3 times over a 3-month period, they just were very accepting.
Really good.
Did we have any complaints from the Wilson job?
I'm sorry?
Did we have any complaints from the Wilson Harbor job that you know of?
We had one lady who asked that we continue to have the workers sweep up and clean the street because it was so clean that she enjoyed it. So that was our only comment.
I wish you could get them over to the flood control channel near my house, because for 3 months we've had dirty car. Doesn't make sense. It's a mess. So send those cleanup guys over to me.
The channel looks good.
Bob.
The channel looks good.
Yeah, channel out from a flood standpoint, Bob.
Oh, Wendell, I've had this discussion with you before, but, you know, there are 2 or 3, and now there'll be 4 or 5 projects that are completed. Could you put them at the bottom of the list and make a little line across, just from my perspective?
Sure, we normally keep them in project number order, and we
Oh.
don't delete them until they're in, until they completed the fiscal year.
But then you could do the same thing down below the line.
And Bob follows that very closely.
Yes, he does. Arlene?
I just wanted to comment that the Wilson one went very smooth, and I was really happy. I had nice compliments on that.
Thank you. Our general manager played a large part. We had a meeting before everything started, and the most important element was disruption. So we designed the job around minimizing disruption, and it worked out very well.
Did.
That's so critical, that intersection, as you know, Rob.
Yeah.
And that is probably the busiest.
I know.
That over on 17th Street
It's true.
is just unbelievable.
We're gonna carry that same type of attitude into our resident force main by probably drilling a number of the sections rather than open cut the street.
Okay.
And surprisingly
I see.
inexpensive.
Right.
If you think that the cost for the drilling, just the drilling company, Cal Boring on Harbor and Wilson, was only $31,000.
Good.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
That is phenomenal.
that was great use of no-dig technology.
Was it equally, I mean, we did that for a reason, because it's a busy intersection. Is it as cheap as, you know, as cut and fill?
It depends on the contractor and the situation. I'm not sure whether, the problem in Costa Mesa is that Costa Mesa does not allow native soil to go back in the trench as backfill, so it's immediately very expensive. So it is looking like it could be cheaper just to drill
So it's
than
competitive.
to open cut.
What do they put in as backfill?
DG?
We have to use one of 2 backfills. One is crushed aggregate base, and the other one is crushed miscellaneous base. And they're different kinds of rock mixtures. And that means that all the soil has to be taken to either a landfill or someone else's job, and all that backfill material imported. So we immediately have very costly sewer.
It's interesting.
It is.
Good. Okay, thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Report. Treasurer's report, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members. The portfolio as of October 31 was earning 1.344% with an average maturity of 3.08 years. Year to date, we're earning 1.25%, and for this year we had budgeted 0.9%, so we're beating budget. During the month of October, there was one investment that was called. We had a Fannie Mae security in the amount of $250,000 that was called. It was originally purchased as 5-year security. We held it for a year, it was earning 1.47%. The same day, we replaced that security with a Freddie Mac of a shorter duration, 3 3/4 years at 1.4%. And we added another 50,000 to that, so that was a $300,000 investment. During October, CPI was a little bit of an increase to 0.4%. And looking forward with the election and what we might be able to expect, I think that we're going to expect a lot of uncertainty. There's just no way to predict what's going to happen, and that was really evident when the markets dropped immediately right after the election. They had all built in a Clinton win, and then when Trump won, the markets corrected themselves just a little bit, but they have since moved back up. And a lot of the uncertainty also I think we're going to see is with some comments that the President-elect has made, and some examples of those and how they've affected the markets just by comments. One comment indicating that Mexico is going to build a wall, and so right after that happened on the election day, Mexican stock market dropped 13%.
Right.
It tanked. He made a comment about technology companies are going to have problems, and he was really referring to Amazon, but just after that comment, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Alphabet all dropped 2.4%. He made a comment that Dodd-Frank is a negative force, and after that comment had happened, bank stocks, this past Monday, bank stocks climbed 2.3%. They've been up 11% since the election. So just the comments that he makes are really going to make things all over the place. So we're going to be very much staying to probably a little bit shorter in duration while we see what happens over the next several months.
I'm sure the Canadian dollar will skyrocket because with the influx of immigration to Canada, they'll be a stronger position without a wall.
Well, Janice Yellen said that in December there's going to be interest rate increase.
Yeah.
That's probably going to take effect. Will that help us in the long run?
It will, if the rates go up, then are the types of investments we invest in, we'll see a little bit of a tick up as well. And that usually takes a little bit of time for that to follow with the fixed income securities. But yeah, I would anticipate that we would see a little bit of tick up as well.
Do you think with the president-elect, after he takes office, won't some of the state regulators try to get a little stronger positions, some of the individual state things? That's what the belief is, that some of the state people will get a little stronger in their regulations.
I don't know.
I know it's a crapshoot on all that stuff, but
I know from the industry that I'm in, usually a Democrat that's in the White House, we see more regulation and more audits as a result, more compliance type work as a result of that. And it's tended to go down when a Republican is in the White House, but at state level, I'm not sure.
and from my industry, we think there's going to be more state there's more push from the state regulators on insurance, and some spill into financial, but probably not to the extent that my industry will see it. So interesting. Good. Any other questions for Mark? Okay, as always, thank you all. All right, let's move to our attorney's report. Counselor, good evening.
Thanks, Mr. President. Well, this was a pleasant surprise. The board has already addressed this item in closed session, but in the beginning of the year, Rob and his folks discovered that Caltrans had damaged our sewer line over on Newport Avenue, and Rob and I believe Scott got together and put together some documents, and we came to the board, and we weren't very sure that we were going to be able to produce a recovery on this one, but much to our surprise, we filed a complaint in inverse condemnation in August, and state picked up the phone and said, we'll pay what you're demanding and your attorney's fees. And I'm still stunned. This thing was settled in a matter of months, so very pleased with the way the state responded to this one, and we're pleased to present this to you for your approval.
Did we receive the check yet?
The check doesn't come until you sign the settlement agreement. So. And they've warned us it might take a couple of months. But, once we get the ink, I think we're going to get the money.
Checks in the mail.
All right, so we have a motion to approve we're approving the entire settlement, aren't we, Alan?
Yes.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Public comment? Seeing no one, I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes 4-0 with one absence. Thank you, sir. And are we signing that tonight, Madam Clerk?
That would be great.
Okay, back to local meetings. Director Furman's not here, but Director Uden, do you have a report?
I attended the Orange County Sand District last night, and it was a 2-hour meeting, which is rare for that group. And the item that got the most discussion was from Supervisor Steele, asking if she couldn't get closed session items ahead of time to review, because historically, Orange County Sand District has, and a number of agencies, provide the materials, the night of, in a package for the supervisor to review. And there's different types of legal materials, and so they custom discussed what type of materials might be able to be available, like the case, the case is written up. Everybody has access to that, so that potentially could be distributed. Labor negotiations, they thought they needed probably to keep that under wrap. But what they did was they decided to have their attorney Brad Hogan come back with some of the options, and there were many iterations and options discussed. There were many concerns about electronic transport of this material to the people, to the councilman's, staff sometimes go through it and separate it out and potentially can read it. And then, or at home, if the council members get their packets at home, they're just left on the doorstep. Mr. Hogan will come back next month, or in a timely manner, with an agenda report discussing the options. But Supervisor Steele just didn't feel comfortable getting sometimes voluminous amounts of material, even though there might be a summary of what's going on. But they were all over the map as far as what their concerns were.
Can I add to that, Bob? I also attended, and of all the people representing on the board, there were like 20 different opinions. So John Withers he was the one that kind of directed, hey, why don't we have an ad hoc committee, or let the lawyers and the staff work on the presentation and bring it back to the board for this final discussion. So they all agreed to that, except for Michelle Steele. She voted no. So I think she had an agenda. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but she wanted it to go her way, but it didn't go her way, so they're gonna bring that back to them. And I was thinking exactly what we do in terms of closed session. Closed session materials. Do we have to look at ours closely, or are we okay, Alan, do you think?
Well, I think we'd always want to give it to you ahead of time, so you can make a thoughtful decision. I don't see why you wouldn't do that, and I'm not sure what the reasons would be for not providing it ahead of time.
Yeah, most people thought that was the best way to go, but they didn't know exactly the right way to do it. That was their main concern. But I just thought I'd bring that up to your attention, just to.
Yeah, I would think you'd want, we'd obviously, to get everything at the time you're gonna make the decision is really difficult.
Yeah.
That'd be hard to do.
Because I think they've been doing that as past practice. They would get it, and then they would look at it, and then they would vote on it that same night.
Yeah.
So that's why she
hard.
brought it to their
Yeah.
attention.
But
Usually you need to make a judgment about what's our chances of prevailing, what's
Right.
the cost to bring it to trial, what's the chances of settling, what's the chances it could go wrong,
yeah.
what could we end up paying their attorney's fees, and basically, just percentages, is this a 50-50 case, or, and all those things you have to think about a little bit, and it's kinda hard to make the decision that night.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
and they did bring up the fact that many of the legal actions or legal concerns concerns the board members had seen a number of times. So they're generally not just decided that night. The concern that some had, and there's a lot of lawyers on that board, or some lawyers on the board, was they didn't want to give their position away at all. They didn't want to risk giving their position away. That was their main concern. So things that, you know, that analysis part, it's one thing's the case part and one thing is the strategic planning or the case, the analysis part.
But are we talking about everything being discussed in closed session?
No, well, that's to be determined by the, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if it's in closed
that-
session, then you're not supposed to divulge anything, it's a violation, but if you're talking about an open session, then I would agree with what you're
No,
saying.
this is just in closed
Just
session.
in closed session.
Anyway, that took up,
It took up the whole meeting almost,
yeah.
except for some presentations.
And they
boards.
did have a fun little thing, this is the third year of, having grade school kids prepare safety posters, and they give, some remuneration, they give out 7 or 8 awards.
It's different age brackets.
And, you know, that just gets the kids engaged,
Yeah,
and,
that's cool.
some large families, all of them participate.
Yeah, like some families have 2 kids that are participating, that won the awards. And the top award, and each one of them had I think it was $100 fee that they earned.
Not bad.
Yeah, you know, these kids are like farm kids, they're there to produce. Anyway, that was, you know, then there was no public comment, they were patting themselves on, they were patting the termed out, there were 5 board members who would not be returning because they were either defeated in the election or turned out. And then Nelson, who's been the past board chair, got accommodations from everybody.
Everybody.
And I didn't, and I never, Art and I could never figure out whether he was turned out or not coming back or what.
Yeah.
And, you know, he almost, his arm was almost worn out, patting himself on the back, or no, everybody else patting him on
Oh,
the back.
sure.
How do you really feel? Anything else?
No,
That's basically the.
we did attend Waco,
Yeah.
I think, the 3 of us attended, and there was a good discussion by a fellow from Northern California on the water issues. So what he was brought there for was to give the perspective, you know, of a Northern California. And basically, there was a lot of give and take, and he agreed with, you know, he had done quite an extensive analysis, and he basically disagreed with the northern counterparts on many items. He was active, an active lobbyist, and I thought he gave a lot of insightful, information on the drought and whatnot. Art, Arlene?
No, I took had the same impression. He favored the Southern California
Yeah,
point of view
yeah.
over the Northern.
Right.
But he was a type of speaker that you really couldn't take a lot of notes from because he moved so quickly.
Mhm.
You know, because I started taking notes and then I stopped because he just bounced around so much. You know, but he was a real good speaker, and I thought it was well worth attending.
Very good. All right, Sarfa? you wanna take
Yeah,
this?
I just came. I left the SARFA meeting early, so I didn't know how long it would take me to get here. But we got started late because they moved the normal. I was waiting in the room that we normally go to. No one was there, so I went and checked to see if the meeting's still on. So it's in a different room.
Oh, no.
So I went to that, and then the main thrust of the meeting was they had a representative from the Corps of Engineers from LA that basically said that the amount of cost of the project is now moved up to $1.4 billion. And there's they had 5 different options, and because of the cost analysis, I think they're gonna go with option 2. The federal government wants to go with option 2. The county wants to go with option 3. Option 5 is where they have the retaining waters at Milesville Park. That's too expensive, and the cost ratio is too great, so that's not gonna take effect. It's gonna be either option 2 or option 3. Federal government option 2, but they're gonna combine it with option 3, they think, because option 3, the county has to start working on they have this segmented areas where the county has to do the work and pay for it, county or the partners of the county. And then, but this thing has not even come to bear until like 2020. So they still have to go through the processes. There's 4 different dates that they're looking at. I think 2018 is where the public gets to have input. And then in 2020, it's probably gonna be like 6 months after they finalize it in 220, it'll come to see what they're gonna do. But, the cost is
Okay.
pretty great.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but I think that they have they're not sure because of the new presidential election and, what direction the financing is gonna go, but the money that was financed already or promised already is still intact, so $37 million. But the study alone is $10+ million to do the study. But I have the package here, I'll give to anybody who'd like to take a look at it.
Very good, thanks, sir. ISDOC, we had I had my next to last meeting as president of ISDOC on the 1st of November. Probably the one big item was the LAFCO report by John Withers. They're going through their annual audit, LAFCO's going through their annual audit process now. He also mentioned that MSRs will start first rounds in 2018, which we were aware of. And then he talked about something, and until we talked the other day, Scott, I didn't realize what he was talking about. But John had made a mention that the LAFCO board was looking at policies and procedures when there are conflicting proposals and consolidations. And obviously we know that there's some talk about changing, the process. So what John said was, I thought it was interesting, he says, we're looking at the clarity of the process. So we'll see how that plays out. Pretty short meeting, that's really it. No talk of legislation, mostly because our 3rd vice president wasn't at the meeting, and I think the legislators were all on vacation. Also in December, ISDOC will finalize its calendar for next year. I'm sure Nolani, you'll get a copy of that as soon as it's finalized. I think the only meeting they were trying to figure out what to do was January, whether to have it on the 3rd or the 10th, because people don't like to go to the meetings the day after they come back from a holiday, and I'm not sure why they don't, but that was ISDOC.
So you have one more meeting as the president?
That's correct.
Okay.
Then I guess
Yeah.
the gavel will pass. Okay. CSDA, Arlene, anything to report?
Yes. In November, the first week of November, I pretty much was up in Sacramento the whole week. And I had meeting after meeting after meeting, so it was silly to come back and forth, and so I just stayed up there. The meeting on membership, I'm going to be the new chair of membership up there in CSDA. And of course, we're going to have a new president, which is Vince, and he will be a great president. And we've kind of got together on all the who we have on the board, executive board. And then we had a real good ending legislation meeting, which was outstanding, where we all kind of split up in groups and decided on what we thought were the priorities for next year. And that was healthy because it came from all kinds of special districts. And then after that, let's see, in December 8th, I'll be going up there. We cannot find a hotel up there. They're all booked. Something's going on December 8th, and there's no way. So I'm just going to do a round trip where I go in the morning, go to my executive board meeting, and then have to come back that night. And there's nothing I can do about it. So just have to pray for no fog. And other than that, I missed Waco because of that. So Kyle, who is the legislation director, he had us over to his house for reception after,
Nice.
you know, which was really nice, and got to meet his family and so forth. And the legislation, it sounds good, you know, everything that's going on right now. CSDA has a foot in the door, we're at the table, and things are really good. They're gonna be having another little Hoover meeting again, and, but we're not, you know, indicating that we're involved in that in any way, so we'll just sit there, and it's more on climate, and which surprised us, so that'll take care of that. And other than that, that's it.
Okay, thank you. There was no SDRMA meeting this month, so nothing really to report. Other meetings, anybody else have any other meetings, Bob?
Oh, yeah, Arlene and I attended the
Oh, yeah.
chamber meeting this morning, and
Right.
they rolled out what looks to be a extremely useful and user-friendly website where the businesses can put information on, including videos, you know, to promote their business. And individuals can, or individual business, but you can also put events and things on, so they'll have a calendar, and they're trying to become much more visible and user-friendly and helping promote businesses in another way, in all kinds of ways. So that'll be rolled out on Monday.
Yeah.
So we, you know, sanitary district, Friends of the Library, and other businesses that belong to the chamber. And there were all kinds, you know, and the insurance people that rose up in mass and thought, you know, that was just a wonderful asset.
Good for them.
And what they'll be doing also is they're working with the city, and so that the city will, they're just so excited over them being part of everything and networking. So what they're going to do is, if somebody went to the city for a business license, then they let the chamber know, and the vice versa. The chamber will tell the city, and so they're really communicating in that respect. And the part of the website that will be rolled out, like we said, on Monday, is excellent, and they're gonna have an app for it, and they're going to have listing all of us, but at the same time, it's an opportunity for us to even put in about organic or film, anything we wanna do, you know, with this chamber. I mean, you don't necessarily have to wait for this kind of $200 to get up and speak for 5 minutes or something. Instead, you're able to do, the whole community will hear what's going on through this website, and they're going to work about that.
Will public agencies be able to get on there
If
and
they're,
make arguments for their positions on things?
well, if they're members, I don't,
Yeah,
That might be touchy, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
you'd have to censor that maybe.
Yeah,
Based on
well, it's been,
past actions, I would hope they would.
yeah,
I attended the city council meeting after the election on Tuesday night, and it was a packed house, and that's why I brought up, because they're not gonna seat the new city council members till after December 13th, because the election, they think it's gonna go that long before it's certified. So that's why I thought, but ours says the first Friday in December. But
Yeah.
the majority of the speakers were congratulatory to the new city council members and the hard work that they put in to get elected.
mhm,
And the mayor at that time was, because people clapped about how things went, and he kept letting the citizens know that you can't clap at public meetings. And then, but a couple of the lawyers that were there that spoke on behalf of the way the process went, said that, no, that's a freedom of speech, and that people are allowed to clap as long as it's not derogatory. Do you have a comment on that, Alan? Is that how you read it too?
You can't censor speech based on whether you like it or not. You could probably do something if the applause was so long or boisterous as to be disruptive of getting your meeting accomplished. But you can't,
It was like 5 to 10 seconds.
yeah. They've even said that the guy who did the Nazi salute in the council
Right.
chambers was
Right.
free to do that,
Right.
because it didn't disrupt the meeting, so you really can't make
Hmm.
judgments based on whether you like what they're saying or not.
But the mayor at that time kept telling people to stop or he's gonna cancel the meeting, or put it, take a recess. So those people kept responding back to him against their rights, that they can do that.
Costa Mesa's had more experience than any other city with
know.
lawsuits
I
from
know
the
that-
ACLU about what the limits are on speech, and they should
that
know
was-
the rule pretty well.
That was brought up by one of the other speakers also. But I thought in general, there was only like one complimentary speech for one of the mayor that didn't win re-election. But the majority of the people were there as a grassroots effort and thanked each other. And even Jay Humphrey was there. He lost the election, but he was congratulatory to all the people that worked on the campaign.
That's nice.
And it was really, he did a really good job. But I thought it was really benefit to me to go to watch that and listen to what the people had to say. It was real good, real good.
The pro Mensinger speaker looked a lot like you.
Yeah, that was my brother. I don't wanna tell you what he said, but I told my, well, I can, I guess. He referred to, he started, that was my brother Chuck. He referred to all the different great citizens of Costa Mesa since we moved here, like Luke Davis, Jack Hammett, Rod McMillan, and a couple others.
Scott, Jim Scott.
Jim Scott, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he said, but the top of the list is Steve Menzinger.
Oh,
And I'm not sure what the response was, but I don't think it was that great. But
Are we
that
on?
was,
It's a sensor light.
is it?
That's what happens when that name is mentioned.
When he was talking about the mayor, the lights went dim, and I thought,
That's what I thought.
there we go.
His lights did go dim.
I think the city council meetings in the future will be more reflective of what the needs of the residents will be, I think,
Yeah,
you know.
and they'll be choosing a new mayor too.
Yes, I'm not sure when I think they take their oath on the 13th, so probably the next meeting is when they'll,
Yeah, I'm
Well,
sure.
I think they're
Yeah.
seated, then are they?
Yeah.
They'll do it that night.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, they're gonna do it then.
They're seated that night.
That's what,
What day of the week is the 13th?
It's a
Is
Tuesday.
that Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Okay, so that's when they're gonna do it.
Okay. Other meetings, I'll just give a brief report on the ad hoc committee that's been meeting for our issues with the consolidation. We've had a lot of discussion about LAFCO procedures and changes at LAFCO and some items that are coming up with them. We've crafted some press releases to go out, and I think we're making a lot of progress. I'm very pleased with the interaction and what's happening. The consultants did have a request that we'll be talking about at the study session or at the meeting? At the board meeting, next board meeting, okay. And other than that, anything else to add about the ad hoc? Okay.
No.
Very, very comfortable with the process. Okay, we have no old business or new business, so we'll go to oral communications and director comments. I'll start that off, and if I don't do this, I'll get in trouble, so if this is being taped this evening, I just wanna wish my wife a very happy birthday today, and you can all vouch for me if anything gets said, okay? So I did wish my wife a happy birthday. Again, congratulations to Jim and Art for a very, very successful and a very positive campaign. Costa Mesa has not only had its share of issues at the dais at the city council chambers, this was probably the dirtiest election in the city of Costa Mesa. And I've been watching elections here since 1960 something, and this was by far the worst. And I think with some of the changes we're gonna see in our city, it'll be a much better process and a much friendlier process going forward, so. And the other, last thing I'd say is, to wish staff and our visitors a very happy Thanksgiving. I mean, is that something I can say from the dais, happy Thanksgiving? It's not narrowing down into one holiday or another, so, I hope you all enjoy your families, and, Don't eat too much. Anybody else? No?
Good job.
Okay, then, we have no need to adjourn to a closed session, I don't believe, this evening. And since we're not adjourning, we won't reconvene to open session. And with that, I will adjourn our,
But can I,
oh, sure.
excuse me, can you go back to oral communications? Arlene, did you wanna talk about the
Well, can I,
Christmas party or not, or is that?
can I do
You
that, or
can just
should I?
make an announcement that we're looking into.
Oh, yeah, we're looking into having a Christmas party, and what we wanted to do, we would be willing to, not willing, bad word. We were going to invite the different directors from the different departments, and you're not obligated to come at all, but we just wanted you to know that you're invited, no matter, and that would be nice. And after this meeting, we're going to decide on a date, and that was about it.
Are you thinking about like December 13th? Is that, what date are you thinking?
You know what, I did it wrong. The date
That's
is
Tuesday.
December 12th.
Okay.
That's a Tuesday. That's the one that you were thinking of, Mike.
12's a Monday.
12th's
so-
a Monday.
It's in
Well,
December.
why is that? Look at this calendar. Isn't that weird?
Well, that's because you get December of 2017.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's the 16th.
That's next year's
Oh,
calendar.
jeez, that's right.
So Monday is what
Okay,
date?
okay, so
I'd
it's,
say Monday.
it's the, yeah, okay, it's Monday no, it was Tuesday,
Well,
12th.
Tuesday is,
Tuesday
no,
the 13th.
Tuesday, that's the night of the city council meeting. I think that I would like to attend that.
That's right.
When they
We-
take
of
office.
course
But
we
Can
want
we do
to.
it on Monday? Or when, Bob lives
The
in the 14th.
Monday,
Can we-
the 11th?
How about if we all, I need to look at my calendar for sure, but how about if we all get back to you within the next couple of days and let you know what dates work, and then we can
Okay.
decide on a
The
date.
concern is getting a place, so that we need to really get on the
Yeah.
ball.
I would shoot for the 11th if that
That's
that
a
works,
Monday?
If it works for everybody,
The 11th in the evening?
yes.
Yes,
That's a Sunday.
That's a Sunday.
Oh, is it? No, Monday's the 11th.
No, Monday's the 12th.
You're
Oh,
in.
yeah,
No.
Monday, I mean,
You're
Monday
in
the 12th, yeah,
2017 calendar.
Monday the 12th.
Monday
Check
the-
calendars and let Arlene know.
Tuesday
Scott,
is
let
the
her know
12th.
you're-
Okay, so we're trying to do it before Bob leaves, right?
Yeah, Bob's going on vacation.
for the Great Midwest.
Again, okay, so we'll
Okay.
do it.
All right, anything else?
Somebody that'll pay for it.
Anything else? Any other comments?
Nope,
Then I will adjourn us to our
Okay.
December 22nd Board of Directors meeting.
December 22nd.
Congratulations, it worked.
Do you think we should move that